After successfully retreating from our pursuers, we mourn the loss of our comrades by marking their deaths on my profile card. The royals have a moment of reflection, with Alir apologising for not listening to Marth, Alcryst blaming Ivy for playing a significant role in preventing us from getting to Morian in time, Diamant keeping cool by focusing the blame on the fell dragon instead, and Ivy apologising. After the moping, Alir is confident that we can get the Emblem rings back, and he vows to not lose anyone else's life under his command. Of course that's his promise and not mine. Before going to the Queendom of Freedom, we are forced back onto the Somniel, where I do the usual activities, in addition to slapping the Blazing Emblem onto a Killing Edge, and the Awakening Emblem onto a Stiletto. I also tried the Tempest Trials, where there's not much to talk about, other than beating 3 maps in a row and getting some crystals for Emblem weapon upgrades. As for the support conversations, Alcryst and Alir get attacked by wolves, and the former of the duo performs a kowtow apology that successfully convinces the attackers to just leave. Alir is quite impressed, and yet somehow Alcryst feels he's fallen short of some non-existent expectations and leaves too. Etier asks Clan to make her more pickles, Clan obliges, and that's pretty much it. Unica gives Louis high quality tea leaves as a present, and the tea master is quite delighted, inviting Unica for a brew or two and a bit of conversation. Unica is not too keen on the conversation part, until Louis changes his tune in that he was planning on talking all about himself, causing Unica to accept, hook, line and sinker. Alcryst encounters a struggling Diamant who is training with mages. We find out that one of Diamant's weaknesses is his fear of magic, as he once made a mistake that caused him serious injuries. He now works to overcome that fear, and Alcryst promises not to tell a soul what he just witnessed, still in disbelief. After all that, we head south from where we fled and enter the Solmic Sands. Despite having at least 3 people who have been to Solm's palace before, we get lost and are eventually found by the flamboyant Fogado, one of the natives and a leader of a group known as the Sentinels, whose duty is to help people in need, like us. Alir introduces himself, and Fogado has the same expression as pretty much everyone else that finds out he's the Divine Dragon. Fogado would love to get us to Solm Palace, but he's got a job that needs to be done, and Alir offers his aid. We meet up with Sentinel members Pandreo and Bunet, a party animal and a gourmet who are fighting corrupted. The enemy are forced into a ceasefire, so Fogado can introduce Alir to his comrades. And then we finally enter our first desert map, where thankfully, regular sand doesn't hinder units' movements like most other Fire Emblem games, and the darker quicksand tiles have that annoyance instead. Though unlike most tiles with movement penalties, the penalty doesn't apply unless a unit's turn is started on it. Corrupted litter the map, including the new Wolf Rider units who wield daggers and are annoyingly bulky. There are a few villages in the southwest corner that are optional to save, but I'm planning on trying anyway, so I swap Louis for Ivy, who gives the middle finger to the quicksand penalty because she's a flyer. After setting everyone's positions, I start the map with the goal of routing the enemy. Turn 1 starts and I have everyone march west with Alcryst Clan Bunet and Fogado, who takes Alcryst's longbow, failing to kill one of the corrupted in the north, while Unica dashes into the quicksand to solo one. Pandreo takes the time to introduce us to the fabled warp staff that works like rewarp, but targets adjacent allies instead. On the enemy phase, Alfred counters while Bunet slays the corrupted the northern boys had trouble with, while Unica severely weakens her second enemy. On turn 2, Unica pulls back a tile to eliminate the corrupted that attacked Alfred, putting her in range for some healing from Jean. Alfred and Alir each slay a corrupted at the quicksand in front of them, and Ivy blocks the path of a 11 sword-wielding enemy and burns the corrupted north of her. The northern boys move west with some level of caution, with Alcryst Emblem engaging to provide covering fire with Astrostorm, eliminating the flyer ahead and magically receiving their spear. Pandreo ends the turn by taking the spear off Alcryst and healing Alfred. Bunet's horse takes 2 arrows to the face, while Alir is struck twice by lightning. The villagers move south and we enter turn 3. Alfred and Ivy team up to take down the 11 sword corrupted, and Ivy takes the weapon. The northern boys do a better job this time, with Bunet smashing the corrupted that attacked him, leaving Alchrist and Clan to serve the last 2 hits. I move Pandreo next to Alir to heal him and be in the position to aid whichever team needs their most help. Alir moves down and Emblem engages to activate Bondage Shield to protect Ivy, Alfred and Unica from the Wolf Rider ahead of them. Jean is slowed immensely by the quicksand, so I have him re-warp to Unica's side, and finally, Fogado moves south to try and crit the Wolf Rider. However, the crit rate was a mirage and it was the enemy who had the 30% crit rate instead. So I go back and move Fogado west instead, causing the Wolf Rider to attack Ivy, whose first hit is blocked by Alir. The rest of the Corrupted move either towards us or the villagers, and then enemy reinforcements appear from the north, east and south, while the villagers just move around again. Turn 4, I eliminate the Wolf Rider through the combined effort of Pandreo, Alfred, Ivy and Fogado. Unica gets out of the quicksand and Alir stands between her and Alfred to protect them with Bondage Shield. Jean moves next to Alir for that protection and offers healing in return. After seeing the reinforcements, Alchrist panics into the quicksand and uses core doubles, while Clan and Bunet do the opposite and get out of there. On the enemy phase, one of the illusions is shattered and a villager gets smacked. Another illusion gets a hit in before they're taken out and another villager is smashed away. Then a mage and a healer reinforce the enemy from the north and east. The villagers who got hit heal themselves and turn 5 begins. Unica, Ivy and Jean pin down the flyers harassing the villagers and Jean hits level 14. Alfred gallops to the villagers while Bunet and Clan get back into the quicksand to help Alchrist in his predicament. Fogado makes their way west while I make the ballsy decision to have Pandreo warp Alir back to the east on his own. A villager gets hit and Clan gets smashed. Bunet eliminates the Corrupted he and Clan have been hammering on, and Alir successfully destroys one of the eastern reinforcements. Turn 6, I lose quite a few charges this turn on account for the crappy position I put Bunet, Alchrist and Clan in, with the latter two not having very many options that wouldn't lead to either of the two dying, with the Killing Edge Corrupted in the back, and being in 2-shot range of both the Corrupted south of them and the Mage at the northeast. The best option I had was to have Bunet open a path for Clan by eliminating the Corrupted in the south, however he misses on the 2 timelines he tries. I end up utilising a total of 3 charges, which included Alchrist dying twice before I burned a 4th to go back to turn 5, changing Clan's position to a choke point, and Fogado nearing the trio to aid them for the coming turn. The enemy phase goes the same way a few timelines ago, though this time Clan is opened up to a second attack which he's able to fend off, thanks to having initiative from the second enemy also having a smash weapon. Back again on turn 6 with a better position, Alir goes and strikes the Chi Adept near him. Ivy blasts the Corrupted that had been beating the villagers the last few turns, and Alfred swipes at the flyer that's dangerously close. Just in case, Pandreo moves west to heal one of the villagers, Jean re-warps out of the quicksand and Unica moves up. As for the north, Clan gets out of the quicksand and casts Thunder on the Corrupted who smashed him, while Bunet delivers the final blow. With the trio not needing his help, Fogado hunts the Chi Adept to their west and eliminates them. Then the turn ends when Alchrist moves south. Bunet gets sliced by a mage while a villager gets smashed. Alir takes down one of the enemies he's been attacking, then Wolf Riders appear from the northwest and Pegasus Knights appear near Alir. Turn 7, not wanting to deal with the flyers just yet, Alir chases the last Axe Corrupted and gracefully ends them. Fogado returns to the northern trio and starts poking the Killing Edge Corrupted, while Bunet and Clan dispatch the mage, and Alchrist escapes the quicksand. As for the southwestern quintet, Alfred defeats the flyer and reaches level 2, keeping the villagers safe for the turn. Unica switches to Team North while everyone else prepares for the oncoming threats. The Corrupted Pegasus Knights fly west and the Wolf Riders head south. A villager smartly moves from the Wolf Riders range and turn 8 begins. Unica shows the northern boys how it's done and stabs their last threat with a crit, which levels her up to level 11. The boys move west with Fogado eliminating a mage along the way. As for those near the Wolf Riders, we attempt to eliminate one with Pandreo, Ivy and Alfred. but the latter misses the crucial killing blow. So Jean heads up to heal Alfred, and I immediately realise that Jean gets one-rounded by the riders even without crits. But I let things play out just in case he pulls a miracle, and yeah, he's just a goner. So into timeline 30 we go, back to when Pandreo broke the wolf. This time I have Jean freeze the other wolf rider in place, while Alfred misses with the rider's bane again. Thus we go back even further and I have Jean use freeze again, but this time on the wolf rider we've been trying to defeat the last two timelines, while the others surround the young lad to keep him protected. I add Fogado to the list of the enemy's potential targets and end the turn by moving Alcrus towards Alir. The wolf rider chooses Ivy as their prey and things look promising until their second attack turns out to be a freaking crit. This time I try to separate the wolf riders a different way. First, Pandreo warps one of the villagers away from the danger. Fogado acts as bait for the right wolf, while Alfred moves all the way south to bait the left wolf. Ivy and Jean escape the attack ranges by moving and warping respectively. Then I end the turn. Alir finishes his solo cleanup of the southeastern corner by critting both Pegasus Knights. Operation Bait is successful, with Fogado even getting a crit of his own, and then we finally make it onto turn 9. Alfred and Ivy finish cleanup at the southwest and I prep Pandreo to bait the remaining mage. Our two archers safely eliminate the final wolf rider, then I end the turn, where the mage just runs up to Pandreo's face and does absolutely nothing. So on the final turn, Pandreo gives them a good punch while Alfred ends the match.